I don't ever think I felt like I fully fitted in anywhere ever.
Are you ready to get into the mind of one of the biggest content creators in the world?
I just see things a bit differently. I've definitely got an unusual mind. How the ideas come to my head, it's dreaming at night. I put more pressure on myself than anyone could put on me. My brand, my content, there's no rules. My brains are constantly changing. There's just a different level of work rate, intensity and commitment that you can expect from yourself. Put him in a position where he can't afford to leave you out. I see life as an exciting adventure.
It's mind-blowing. You're listening to No Boundaries. So, welcome to the No Boundaries podcast with Aaron Mclean, and my guest and good friend today. I don't even know what do I call you now? We can't even put you in a box because you can do literally everything.
No, I definitely can't do everything, but I definitely don't really like to be in any sort of box.
So there's freestyler, musician, digital creator. Give us a few more.
Producer. I direct and produce as well. Not just. I've been in the game for a long time, so I've actively studied a wide range of skill sets to try to enable myself to be able to succeed and to express what's in there without being limited by lacking skill set that's needed to do that. So I'm still learning I love learning every single day, literally every single day. I actively make sure that I learn something new, even if it's just the tiniest little thing. That's progress to me. And if you take a little baby step every day, after a while, the baby steps add up, and every mile is walked one step at a time. And that's what I always tell people, because with myself, I'm no different to anyone else in terms of tasks or goals can look intimidating sometimes. They can look insurmountable or unattainable or unachievable. But if you approach every gigantic task with the baby steps mindset, all of a sudden it becomes so much less intimidating, and you just can achieve so much more. And I've looked at, like I said, I study so much. I study the people doing things that I would love to do. I study the people that I am inspired by, motivated by, and success leaves clues. And everybody who's done something well has created a template for others to follow. And that's what I do. And I look at the highest achievers and the highest performers, and they do break things down into baby steps and into a systematic strategy to get from A to B. What route do I need to take? What does that entail? They look at the end goal, they reverse engineer it and break down and work out every step they need to take to get there. And it works. It sounds so simple, but it really works. So
we've spoken loads of times about, we're both strongly into motivational videos, and every time I speak to you, you motivate me because of how you are as a person, how dedicated you are, how hard you work to perfect your craft, and you are an absolute perfectionist. I'm sure that you'll vouch for that.
Sometimes it's more annoying than anything else. But but I'm sure you're the same. Like, you don't achieve what you've achieved without having high standards.
Yeah, but not everyone has that, and everyone they want to achieve, they want the end goal, but they don't necessarily want to put in the work to get to that end goal. And that kind of ties in with exactly what you've said, in that you compartmentalize everything, and the baby steps is what helps you to get to the end goal.
100%. With yourself, you got to the Premier League. You've scored goals in the top league in the country, if not in the world. Bruv, you've done phenomenal. You should be very proud. Massive respect from me. Like I said, most people try and get there, never get there. Myself included. Like, you've achieved what every footballer really wants to, but very few do.
I wanna start there, really. So, like, where did you grow up, and talk to us about your love for football at a young age.
So we moved around when I was younger. I went to school in Hackney, and yeah, always loved football from when I was young. My dad used to take me and my brother down to the park and teach us a few skills. My dad can play,
Yeah,
my dad can play. I think he's 56 now, and he's a beast. He still plays non-vet football at 56.
See, I definitely won't be playing vets football at 56.
I think he's joined the Vets League now as well, but he loves football so much he plays 3, 4, 5 days a week.
Really?
Yeah, he's built different. My dad's built different, mate. But yeah, he used to take us to the park and show us stuff. Football's his passion. I still remember those days vividly, and it was a really good part of my development. And I always wanted to learn more skills to impress my dad, because he used to take us to the park and teach us skills. And if you could show him one and say, "Dad, what about this one?" You just felt really good about it. So I used to aim to do that.
So growing up, you wanted to play football, and you was at Arsenal until you was 15?
I was at Arsenal. I had an extended trial there. So I had a trial and they extended it for 2 weeks. I look back at it as one of the best 2 months of my life. But yeah, just very blessed and grateful to have spent the short time that I did in and around it. And it was really good for my development and learning and character building as well, because obviously I didn't get signed, and that news as a youngster is like devastating. But that's very character building. So it sounds funny, but if I could go back now, I wouldn't change that outcome, because setbacks, disappointments, failures in life, that's what builds our character. And I look back at those days with fond memories, and like I said, very grateful. And I try and use my story as inspiration to other young players coming up, that you need to outwork all competition. You need to be better than everyone in every department, which if I was, I would have been signed. So I clearly wasn't. And I like I said, I try and use my experience to help the next generation. I certainly didn't have my mindset and work ethic that I have today. I wish I did when I was younger, but I didn't. And like,
in what way you didn't, in terms of you didn't work as hard as you did now?
No, I didn't work as hard. I definitely didn't work as hard when I was younger.
See, now that surprises me.
Yeah, I mean, I worked hard in certain areas, but overall, I'm definitely a much harder worker now, and have a much more intense work ethic now. But that's just developed over time. And yeah, I don't take anything for granted nowadays, and I try and maximize and self-develop, like I said, every day, and just try and be the best version of myself, and use my experiences of the past to help others. And by the time I had not even finished university, I was getting some amazing opportunities with the football freestyling. Opportunities like filming with Cristiano Ronaldo, traveling the world, getting paid to perform and do something that I really enjoyed doing. And I thought, I'm just going to go with the flow with this. Let's just go with the flow for a bit and see how we go. And 10 years later, I'm still going with the flow. It's actually more than 10 years. I was more like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 years.
It's longer.
It's longer.
Well, you did Britain's Got Talent in
Yeah,
2008.
Yeah.
So
how many years is that?
well, we're 2021
14
now.
years.
So
Yeah.
and that must have been an unbelievable experience.
It was, but again, I'm probably one of the biggest flops on Britain's Got Talent, because I got to the live stages and then dropped the ball twice, catastrophically.
I wouldn't say
and it was
that.
like car crash TV, and at the time,
I wouldn't
was
say
like,
that's car crash.
it would have been entertaining as a spectator. And this is what I didn't understand at the time. When it happened, obviously I was devastated. I was crying. I was very emotional, and I was really embarrassed as well, because ultimately I bit off more than I could chew. Tried things that were quite high risk, rather than just playing it safe and not making any mistakes. Which, you know, if I had maybe a mentor there with me when I was that age and on the show, to watch the rehearsals and see, I messed up in every rehearsal.
Right.
So it was coming from a good place, but my sort of tenacity to not be defeated caused me to stick with the very high risk routine
Okay.
on the
makes
live
sense.
show.
So yeah.
But if someone just got in my ear and said, Jez, just go 80%, simplify, don't make any mistakes, that would have been good advice. But like I say, car crash TV. But now, I think it took me a few years before realizing that car crash TV is actually more memorable than everything going to plan. So a few years after the show, I'd still get people coming up to me and saying, you were on Britain's Got Talent, mate. I loved it. I know you dropped the ball, but I still voted for you. And it started to like make me realize that things happen that feel bad and seem bad in the moment, but after a bit of time, you can retrospectively look back, and more often than not, nearly always in fact, so much good has come out of what you thought was bad in the moment. Just think about all your ex-girlfriends.
I don't think we'll do that right now. I don't think that's a good idea right now, especially with cameras on me. I think that's a really, really bad idea.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, in the
No,
moment, it's
100%.
like sad, breakup, but then you look back and you're like, what was I even thinking?
Yeah. And so from there, you end up forming a partnership with Billy,
Yes.
forming F2.
Yes.
How did the F2 whole thing come about?
It came about really organically. So we both used to do football freestyling as individuals, and it was
Competitively?
no. It was, we were just on the circuit doing the jobs.
Okay.
And it was a really friendly circle. So you'd see the same sort of faces. There was only about 10 or 15 of us doing it as a career at that time. So we'd all know each other, see each other. We all got along. And me and Bill got on particularly well. And we also, like, we kind of complemented each other. We kind of complemented each other when we did tricks together. We worked well off each other. So we started to, when we'd be on jobs together, we started to create little mini routines doing tricks in sync, and it went down really, really well. And we thought, why is this going down so well? And we kind of realized it's because it's relatively unseen. Football freestyle in general was very new back then as an individual, but as a double act, it hadn't really been done. So we identified that, to be fair to us, and we sort of picked up on a potential niche in the market, and we decided to invest in this, like invest our time, invest ourselves into seeing how far we could take this thing. So we started meeting up to practice and creating routines, going out for bookings together as a double act. We rebranded from Billy Wingrove and Jeremy Lynch to the F2, and got a logo made up, website, and we really started pushing it. And it started to really take off. And then the social media boom happened, and we were right there in the right spot at the right time, and we started creating content initially just to get more bookings. But then very quickly, we could see the world's changing, where you can really make a career out of creating content. So we started to focus more on the content side of things, and the rest is history.
In terms of the content that you was creating, were you just making that up yourself? Were you just thinking of things and like, right, let's try this or let's try that, and just kind of letting it go?
Exactly that. And sometimes you get it wrong. Sometimes you do videos that don't do well. Other times you get it massively right. Oftentimes, and I say this to this day, a lot of my highest performing videos are videos that I didn't think would be in the top bracket. So even to this day, I get surprised with what bangs and what doesn't. You never know for sure, but you can just make calculated estimations.
So everyone would know you, or a lot of people would know you from being a freestyler, from the F2 boys, being on Soccer AM, and that kind of profession. So with that, and with the F2 being so big, but did people really know you as Jeremy Lynch, or did they just know you as one half of the F2?
One half of the F2, I'd say.
So was that kind of then going into the digital creativeness the world that you've gone into now, which is you're in a world of your own. If you don't mind me saying it, you're almost in a league of your own now with your creative content, and it's the best I've ever seen by a country.
I appreciate you.
But was that you almost saying, right, I'm ready to go on my own now. I want people to know who I am, and for my creative mind to now come to the forefront and show people who you're really about?
I'd say it's definitely part of it. So I've always been creative ever since I was a young child, and I loved expressing myself creatively in many different ways. And I definitely do enjoy, if you look at my brand, my content, there's no rules really. There's no box, there's no niche, it'd be very hard to categorize, which is actually probably against best practice in the digital space. Like they always say, all the experts will say, find your niche, double down on what works. And I actually agree with that for the most part, in most cases. But for myself, I go against it.
You go against it because you know that you're so good in so many different areas, and in terms of the advice, the majority of people, and rightly so, the majority of people have to find what they're good at, and you go with it and you almost try and perfect that. If you try and, it's like being a footballer, where you try and play loads of different positions, but you're not really very good in any specific area. You're not a James Milner who can play everywhere on the pitch. You pick your one position.
I agree that to be the best in the world at any given thing, that has to be pretty much your sole focus. So I don't know, if you want to be the best basketball player in the world, you can't be playing cricket on Monday, football on Tuesday, bit of basketball on Wednesday, rugby on Thursday. You have to be locked in on basketball. And the same goes for anything, gymnastics, football, any sport, and not just sport, just performance in general, and in any field as well. If you want to be the top in the world, you have to be borderline obsessed, or more likely actually obsessed. So in terms of the advice to lock down on one thing and focus on that, if you want to be the best at that one thing, I'd go along with that. With me, at this point, I'm literally just enjoying myself. I'm enjoying creating. I get a buzz out of putting smiles on people's faces. I I aim to inspire, motivate, put smiles on faces, and educate or teach here and there naturally as stuff comes. And ultimately, a lot of what I do is designed to try to provide a bit of escapism, even just for a few seconds, from what is a crazy world that we're living in. And it's been amazing how well received it is, and there is a massive demand for just a little bit of light-hearted escapism, because I think there's a lot of heavy things going on in the world at the moment, and if you focus on that the whole time, it would be enough to get any of us down. All the bad stuff that's happening around the world. So yeah, that's kind of where I fit in a lot of the time, is just providing a little moment in the day of escapism, putting a little smile on the face, and then people can, that's kind of where I fit in.
So let's talk a little bit about some of your characters and how you create these characters. Now, I love Savage Dad. Savage Dad is
Savage Dad
one
is
of my absolute favorites. Like, how do you come up with this stuff? Like, you know, the faces and like everything, because what makes it so good for me is that you're so bang on in terms of the little kids. When the little kids are playing the computer and the dad comes, like it's so on point and so relatable.
Yeah.
That's the skill for me, is that when people watch it, they can almost sit there and picture themselves or their kids or whatever in that exact same situation. Like, how does that transcend from being in your head, or how does it even get into your head to start with? And then transcend onto the screen?
It's a great question. I get asked it a lot. I've definitely got an unusual mind. I've kind of accepted that.
Yeah, to say the least.
I've accepted my brain's not normal. But I embrace it. I embrace it. You know, I would say I don't ever think I felt like I fully fitted in anywhere ever. Little bit of a misfit, but when you're younger, you're trying to fit in. You know, you're trying to.
Why did you not feel like you? Or why do you still feel like?
Just my brain just works a bit differently. I just see things a bit differently, a lot, in many different instances. But now I embrace it. I like that. It enables me to do things that are different. A lot of my skits are inspired by real life experience or observation of real life experience. I take a lot in. How the ideas come to my head, it could be one of 100 different ways. Sometimes I'm dreaming at night, and I'll dream an idea and then I'll film it the next day. Sometimes I'm actively trying to creatively brainstorm. Other times you'll see something and it just inspires you. I get inspired by other creators a lot, and like I said, real life experiences and real human emotions. That's the key to any good piece of content, is tapping into the viewer's emotions. And it's very difficult to do that if you are not attuned to people's emotions in real life as well. And I feel that that would be one of my strengths, is I do understand human emotion, and I use my understanding of that to convey what's in here into content, packaged up in a way that is designed to transport the viewer as if they're there, as if it's them, to be able to relate instantly to what they're watching, and for it to take them to a place. And I love doing it, and it's been, like I said, it's been so well received since I started doing it. I get people coming up to me on the street all the time now saying, "Jez, I love the Savage Dad." This is people like the Savage Dad's Jamaican.
Yeah.
Even yesterday, walked past a pub, like British geezers, like, "Jez, Savage Dad, yeah, we love him. When's the next one?" And I thought, that's surprising to me, because I thought it would be mostly like a certain demographic that would have taken to it, but I think it's very wide reaching, and for me, I have to do more now. I've put myself in that position. I've got loads of ideas anyway. So,
what's your favourite? What's your favourite character to do?
That's up there. Even though, believe it or not, my Jamaican patois is not the best. So,
was you born in Jamaica?
No.
So are you part Jamaican?
I did a DNA test, and there was all sorts that came up. I had some Eskimo in me. I had Nigerian. I had Scottish, Swedish. I think there was a bit of Welsh in there. There was
cocktail of everything.
There was some. I had some Middle Eastern in me. Literally, like, long list, and I liked it because it was like, that's actually more interesting than just being half Irish, half Caribbean. So yeah, with the characters, I love variety, you know. Nobody knows what I'm gonna do from one day to the next, not even me. I genuinely don't. I've got a long list of ideas that I believe have viral potential, but I don't know which ones I'm gonna pick when I wake up in the morning. And oftentimes the videos that I end up making on the day are not even on the list. They just came into my head, and I just got so excited. I thought, I've got to film this now and do it.
With your content, there's so many different areas that you know we'll touch upon the musical side, you know, shortly. But there's the figures, you know, with the anime. Action figures, or the football, when you're picking the football teams, or there's the cinema room, creating the cinema room, creating the studio updates, the garden with the football pitch in your garden, even down to what colours to paint your garage, you know, like that kind of creativeness. I look and I think that shouldn't be so entertaining. See, watching you cutting a bit of foam to put on the wall shouldn't be so entertaining. How have you not only managed to make that so entertaining, but how do you think that that's going to be entertaining and roll with it? Or is it just a case of trial and error and see what happens?
It's definitely not trial and error. To me, I see life as an exciting adventure, and over the years I've learned how to bring people into that world, and I do not believe that there is anything in this world that cannot be made interesting, entertaining, or inspirational or educational in some way. There's nothing. There's literally nothing. I look around, and if you come at it from the right angle, anything can be made into interesting content. So yeah, you're right. Like a lot. Give
me an example.
All right, this water bottle. It's just a boring water bottle. Or is it? There's a process how this is made. I don't know what that process is, but I guarantee you, if I went to the factory and saw how they make this from start to finish, where they source the products, where they get the water from, like how the machines are invented and designed to do this is probably on some conveyor belt, and machines just like that's crazy technology that I don't understand how it works. It's standard in factories, but I guarantee if I went there, my eyes would light up and I would want to learn, absorb like a sponge all the processes, because I don't know how they do it. But by the time I left there, guarantee you I'd know. And that's what I find exciting about life, is there's no one that you can meet who you can't learn something from. Even complete idiots, you can learn a lot about how not to be from them. But everybody has a different life experience and a different journey and a different skill set and a different area of expertise. So there's so much that we can learn from everyone, and that's how I approach life. And it's probably why I've got quite a versatile bank of knowledge in different areas. But like I say, you could spend 10 lifetimes learning every day full time, and you still won't know 0.0000001% of all the knowledge there is in the universe. So we're never going to get anywhere near it during our lifetime, but we'll give it a good go to learn as much as I can during my time while I'm here.
Some of your videos, your lovely wife is involved. Bob's involved.
Bob doesn't even need to make another appearance.
Bob's been missing for a little while.
Missing.
I think he's still nursing a few slaps. Anyone who doesn't know who Bob is, tell us who Bob is.
He's the punching man, rubbery guy that, you know, the boxers use for training, and I bought one just to have, and I would actually recommend it. You know, anyone if you.
Well, Shauna likes Bob.
But it's good for taking aggression out, because, you know, sometimes, I don't know, you might feel like, oh, I'm really frustrated by this, or this is really irritating to me. Just go and see Bob, give him a few licks, job done.
Just release on it.
Just release on Bob, take it out on him.
And am I right in saying that Shauna also is a digital creator?
She is, but she's much more relaxed and casual with it than me. I'm sort of very focused and intense and daily with it, whereas she's much more relaxed. Just, you know, she's a free spirit. She loves nature. She loves the dogs. She's enjoying her life. She likes to spend time with her family and friends and stuff. And to be honest, sometimes I look at it and go, you got it right, girl, because she's very much in the moment. A lot of times, no cameras, nothing to do with cameras. Whereas my world, every day I have to create content. So, but it is important to be able to put the cameras down and live life in the moment, not for camera, not for social media, not for anybody else in the world to see, just to be there and enjoy it, because life is short. We're here today, gone tomorrow, and when all is said and done, one of the most valuable things that we'll be left with are our memories. And if we are never present and allowing those memories to form, then we'll be lacking in that department when it comes to the end.
Do you feel pressure to, you say obviously you have to find time to switch off, and to be present with your loved ones? Do you feel pressure that because you've set such a high bar, that you have to now either stick at that level or continue to push the bar even higher? You know, I'd imagine that comes with its own pressures.
It's self-inflicted. But anybody who's going to try to have high standards consistently will become a victim of their own standards in terms of the expectations of others. And that's just the nature of the beast. I enjoy it, I embrace it. I put more pressure on myself than anyone can put on me. I am more critical of myself than anyone can be of me. I'm also my own biggest supporter and talk to myself in a way that is encouraging and uplifting and elevating. And I believe that that's how we all should be. I'm a big believer in being your own biggest critic and not being delusional, but also having the balance of being your own biggest supporter and backing yourself and encouraging yourself to get yourself back up when you've had setbacks and been knocked down, and keep going and keep pushing. Because sometimes, and you'll know this, sometimes you look around and encouragement and true support can be few and far between. Sometimes it's there in abundance, but you will have had times in your career where you would have been in your space and you would have recognized that, in a sense, I'm on my own. I've got no one can do this for me. Do you know what I mean? No one's going to score the goals for you. No one's going to get on the pitch and have the mental strength to overcome abuse from fans, and all that comes with football. Not just fans, the scrutiny and abuse from the media as well. Like, the things that footballers have to overcome, it's not spoken about as much as I believe it should be. But that's a whole different topic. But you'll know what I'm saying when sometimes you've got to encourage yourself.
I think that even goes into normal everyday life, because even away from the football pitch, I'd say you still have those moments, even now.
Yeah.
Even with what I do now, I look and I think, whatever it is that I want to do, whatever direction I want to go in, this is me. This is on me.
Yeah.
But for me to be able to pick up the phone, again, you get back what you put out there. I think that's what I'm.
You do. It's my honestly, it's my pleasure being here. I was never going to say no to you. We go back years, like I don't even know how many years, 10, 15, maybe even more. We go back a long time, and I've always respected you highly, and not just your achievements, but as a man, your character, how you carry yourself. You've inspired me over the years in different ways, and like I said, I draw inspiration from lots of different things and lots of different people, and you're definitely one of those people who has inspired me in different ways. So yeah, I look up to you, and like I said, I do consider you a friend as well, and you're very good at what you do in this new chapter in your life. A lot of footballers try to pivot and make the transition, and it's just not their path, it's not their calling, it's not their natural gift. I believe you have a gift in this new chapter in your life, and I firmly believe and have no doubts you're going to succeed in this new chapter for as long as you want to. You might get bored of it next year, but I doubt it.
I hope not. But I think it is what we've always done is you identify what makes you happy.
Yeah.
What enables you to be able to give out a good aura and inspire people and motivate people. And we're very similar in that respect, in that everything we do and everything we've done, we've always wanted to motivate and inspire.
Yeah, it shows like the positive energy that you put out naturally, it shows in your outcomes. You've always been a very good communicator and a very sociable guy.
Talked a lot. It's the polite way of saying, yeah, you talk a lot.
Yeah, but it's good because it's funny. It's funny. You've always been funny, and like I said, you've always been a sociable guy. Out all the time, probably too much sometimes.
Possibly too much.
I mean,
in my younger days, yeah.
But it comes back down to that conversation about everything that happens in everyone's life. Is it all for a purpose? Is anything coincidence? Because you've always been a sociable guy, out all the time, mixing with an array of different crowds. But that whole time, I know you're not there to do it, but you're working on your communication skills and developing them to such a high level that now you can go into any setting. You can go into high pressure situations where you have to communicate and talk live on camera with people ready to shred you to pieces if you say one half sentence that is disagreeable. And you can do it comfortably. If you had been a social recluse throughout the last 10, 20 years of your life, I do not believe that you would be as well positioned to do your job as well as you do it today. And it's a competitive industry. There's a very select few number of spots in the punditry world, and a relatively large amount of ex-pros trying to get those spots.
Nothing's given.
No favours.
Nothing's given.
I say this all the time. Don't ever expect anyone to do you a pure favour. It might happen, but you'll be much better positioned to do well in life if you expect no favours and anything that you get to be a reflection of the value that you can bring to the table. So if you want to get picked for your team, don't expect the manager to do you a favour. Put him in a position where he can't afford to leave you out because you're too valuable to the team. If you want to get that job, don't expect someone to just give you a little in, do you a favour. Become so good at what you do that you'll bring so much value to that company that they can't afford to have not to have you. That's a message that I do promote, because it's the way of life. Honestly, like, so much in life is just very transactional. What value can you provide? What value is given for that? Fair trade. Let's do the exchange.
And you work for a number. Well, I say work for. Let me rephrase that. You work with a number of different brands.
Yeah.
So are you now in a position where you are really selective about who you choose to work with, whether it be Adidas or
Absolutely. Yes, very, very selective. Actually, for an influencer with my numbers, I probably do one of the least amount of sponsored campaigns at the moment. That's not to say it will stay like that, but I'm very selective with who I partner with. I am very authentic, so I will not promote something that I have knowledge of, something that I ethically disagree with, for example. You know, it's difficult all the time to know all the facts on everything, but you do what you can. You do some research, and yeah, I try to partner with positive brands with a positive message in a positive way, and ultimately, when it comes to social media, my content is my product. So I really do try very hard to maintain the integrity of my content and the quality of my content. So yeah, a lot of stuff that I do is literally non-branded, designed to add value, like I keep saying, with the long game in mind, that if you can keep consistently adding value to people, then they'll keep coming back for more. It's a proven business model that if you can give value for free, a lot of times that can put you in a position to succeed as a business. You see apps do it all the time. Free download. Why is it a free download? Because they're giving you something of value for free, and then once you're in there, you can upgrade to the silver package or the platinum or the gold.
And just give me a little bit about where your love for music and stuff going, and your skill set musically. Some of the things that you do when you ask people, just give me a song, and the ability to be able to just go on your piano, which, bearing in mind, if you think back to the first few videos that you did for me, just on your basic keyboard,
yeah,
and I don't even know how many years back we're going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to dig them
up,
out.
dig them up.
They're on my social media somewhere. I'll dig them out. And just, I'd give you a bit of music and you'd do a little something. To the levels that you're at now, it's mind blowing. How do you even get to that level, and where does it come from?
Thank you, by the way, first and foremost. Appreciate your kind words. Music is in me. It's definitely a God-given gift, but talent is merely potential. Ability can only be acquired through thousands, if not tens of thousands, of dedication to beating on your craft. I definitely have a good understanding of that fact. So I consistently put time in to improve. I'm always looking up at musicians who are far superior to me, far better than me, and oftentimes intimidated. But I'll look anyway, and I'll study, and that's how you improve, is by analyzing, researching, hyper-analyzing, studying the best in class, and trying to garner whatever knowledge and understanding you can from them, and by studying how they do it. And that goes across the board for any field, any craft. I always say it. You want to improve, you want to progress, find someone better than you, watch him like a hawk, study. So I do that. I block out at least an hour every day to practice, and it's the baby steps, honestly. Like, what I like about the music is there's nowhere to hide. You've either done the work or you haven't. If you haven't been doing your boring drills and studying your music theory and putting the hours into practice, it's gonna show. And equally, if you have, it's gonna show as well. You're gonna be in a position where, like I said, with the content, what's in there, you can freely let it flow through you because you've done the technical drills. I'm locked in on what I can do better in everything, really. Even all my content and videos, they could all be better. But you just have to draw the line somewhere. Every video I make is a rush job. Every single video I make.
You do it all yourself.
Yeah.
It's remarkable, because for most people, I'm sure, to be able to pull something like that off with the amount of, not just the imagination and the creation of it, but actually making it, the camera positions and stuff, how long it must take to do a really short video, the amount of hours that must take to be able to get all the different shots that you do must be crazy. And not only do you get those videos, you then go back sometimes and show people how to do the exact same video that you've just done.
Sometimes, yeah. There's challenges that come with doing it as like a lone wolf, but it's by choice. I could easily employ someone, cameraman, editor. I see you've got 4 or 5 guys here who are all no doubt very good at what they do, judging by the lighting setup. But I do enjoy the independence of depending on myself to put food on the table for my family. And there's just a different level of work rate, intensity, and commitment that you can expect from yourself than would be fair for you to expect from any other person. And what I mean by that is, I was filming I was up at 6 in the morning yesterday. Should have been 5. I let myself off. But I had a long one yesterday, and I was filming till 2. Now, to expect anyone to not just film, I was like filming a bit, pulling it into the edit, going back to filming, and working stuff out. But the point is, I was I probably worked an 18-hour day yesterday. Now, that's not fair to expect anyone else to do that, but sometimes that's what it takes with what I do. Other time, like, it totally varies. Sometimes videos would be like 5 minutes, done, quick one, efficient, work smart. But sometimes they take time. And what I'm saying is I know I can depend on myself to do whatever it takes to get the job done. And I like how it's a challenge for me as well, because a lot of my content, I have never created something like that before. I think I know how to do it in my head, but it will be my first time doing it. So that can be a little bit intimidating and a little bit scary, just like trying anything new for the first time. Like, our brains are wired to protect us, not to constantly dive into new things that, you know, is a bit unknown territory. Mm-hmm. So I override any fear or intimidation of a task that is something that I've never done before and is foreign to me. I override that nearly every day. So much so that now I'm in the habit of it. And it's a great habit to be in, because every day you're creating new pathways in your brain. And you get into the habit of self-developing, pushing yourself, and your brain grows more powerful. There's a word for it. What is it? It is neuroplastic. I think that's the word. Our brains are constantly changing. Your brain is not the same today as it was yesterday, because you've had new experiences and it's actually physically changed form. So
do you actively go out and seek that now?
I'm aware of it all the time now, and I embrace it, and I know that if you're uncomfortable, your comfort zone's growing. If you're a bit intimidated by a task but you do it anyway, you're not only building confidence and skill set and progressing and leveling up, you're also making your brain more powerful by pushing it, and you're just going to become a better version of yourself for doing it. So that's another key reason why I work alone at the moment. It pushes me to levels that if I had a team around me, I would be able to rest on my laurels and let him do that edit, let him set up that camera, let him learn how to use that camera, let him do the lighting, let him act out these scenes, let him do the uploads, he can do the thumbnails, and he can come up with the creatives, and he can do the script. I don't leave myself anywhere to hide, so I have to do it all, and that's so good for my self-development, and I do it every day. So,
and do you get more self-gratification for
that? And definitely.
If you are working with a team, because you've worked with teams.
Definitely.
You look at your F2 stuff.
Yeah, I've worked with many teams over the years.
And with camera crews.
This is what people don't see. Over the last decade, I don't think there's been a shoot that we've done where you look around, where's Jezza? He's talking to the director of photography. He's just chewing his ear off, trying to glean knowledge out of him. Why has he got this lens? Why is he using this camera? What's in his pack of tricks, his box of tricks, and his what different lenses has he brought to the day? How would he shoot this shot? The audio engineers, what's your setup? What equipment have you got? Why have you chosen that? How does this work? How have you wired that up? What's the range on these radio mics? What should you look out for? What frequencies do you use? Why do you use them? Producer, director, why are you getting this shot? How have you set up this monitor system? What's your shot list? How have you put that together? How long did it take? Why have you gone for this angle and composition as opposed to this? Why are you shooting wide? Why are you going to a mid there? Like, there's
It's
endless.
question upon question.
Yeah,
upon question. I want to know. Absolutely.
I suck the knowledge out of their brains and then use it in my stuff. And then on top of that, I do a lot of homework at home, studying, watching tutorials, studying all things production, from music to production of content. I can't watch a film without being locked into how the film was made, and I don't mind that. Because it means it means I'm always learning. Always. I can't go to the cinema without coming out having learned.
Which cinema? Normal cinema or the one in your house?
I can't watch a film without learning, because these guys are the best in the game in Hollywood, and you're seeing how they do it. It's the ready-made template for you there of how they have conveyed this message, how they have evoked this emotion, how they have set up this scene. And that is something that people probably don't see, and I wouldn't expect them to, because it's off camera. But that thirst for knowledge has been there for over a decade, and that's one of the secrets to, well, I don't believe I know, that's one of the secrets to me being able to create the content that I do and express what's in my mind onto a screen.
So what does, I know you said that you don't know what you don't know from one day to the next what you want to do.
Yeah.
But what's the goal? What do you want to one day be making films that we're watching in cinemas? What's
the goal?
What's your ultimate goal? Because we've all got dreams and goals, and we're all always working towards something.
Yeah.
So what is Jeremy Lynch? What is his ultimate goal? What is he working towards?
So my ultimate goal is to add value to myself and others, to be the best version of myself, to maximize my time on this earth while I'm here, and to do my best to find out how close I can get to reaching my full potential. What that looks like, I don't know yet. I used to have like 5-year plans and stuff, and I've sort of come away from that now. I'm a bit more of a free spirit with it, where I'm open to going with the flow. I know that I'm self-developing every day, and that excites me, because the progress is what makes me feel alive. I'm aggressively competing with yesterday's version of myself every day. It's like aggressive. Like, yeah, well, okay, you were capable of that yesterday. All right, we'll see. Come on in, right? New day.
What we said when we spoke on the phone.
Yeah.
In that you're constantly battling against yourself.
Constantly.
Because you are. Listen, it's not trying to give you a big ego or anything like that, but you're at the top of your game. In what you do, you're at the top of you're at the top. So how do you said that the next generation are coming for your place, and you tell the viewers what it was.
Yeah, sure. I mean, how it generally works in any new field is the standard rises very steeply in its earlier phases, and then it sort of plateaus out. I don't know, football. First ever footballers to kick a ball. I'm sure if you compared their standard to today's modern footballer, they wouldn't get near it. Because any new sport or field, there's like an exponential rise in standard before it reaches a level where it's getting closer to the human limits. Social media is new, so the skill set required to be able to do almost anything you want on social media. There's not a university course for it. There should be.
And I'm sure there will be eventually.
There will be. But one thing you can be sure of is the next generation are watching. And that's good because they're picking up all sorts of knowledge from the top creators in the game. And I think they did a survey and it was like asking young kids, what do you want to be when you're older? And before, I think footballer was top, especially among young males. But now, I think YouTuber or content creator may be top.
There was a period where it would have been TV reality.
Yeah.
So that had,
So the standard I expect to rise exponentially in the next 5, 10, 15 years. And that's good. I like sharing my knowledge to the younger generation. And anyone, like with anything, anyone who deserves to get to a level of excellence will. Because the only way to deserve to be excellent at anything is by putting in thousands and thousands of hours. That's the only way. And if someone does that, then they deserve to be good at it. They say that if you spend half an hour a day on anything, in 5 years, you will be considered an expert in that field. That's what they say. That's not to say you'll be the best in the world, of course. Like the best are going to be putting in crazy hours, but just generally accepted as a specialist or a bit of an expert in that field. They say it only takes half an hour or more a day. And I can believe that. I don't know if it's a fact or not, but I can believe it because consistency is the key. Consistency is the key.
With anything.
With anything.
Yeah. Listen, Jez, it's been an absolute pleasure.
No, the pleasure is mine.
I appreciate you coming.
Thank you for having me.
Time